Don't have the time or motivation for like a full-on episode today because everything's so screwed up in the world. I forgot my mics and everything, and it's been raining off and on. Yeah, yesterday was pouring. Today it just keeps drizzling or whatever. Yeah, so Corey's been off all week, more or less. So he got some stuff done that I missed, and he did some stuff today. So I think we're just going to give you an overview of what happened. He just hung the manifold. He made a wastegate dump. Nice welding table, Lawn Boy gas tank.
Freaking love this thing. Sounds like a welder pretty nice.
It does.
Out of the old exhaust pipe.
Yeah, it's off this car, isn't it?
Yep.
Like the tailpipe or whatever.
Yep.
So you can see that that's pretty nice. Wastegate's on, the manifold's on. Don't mind that one bolt.
Yeah, I'll maybe get a shorter one. I just didn't feel like going over to the garage to grab another.
You put a universal like hot rod 4L80 dipstick in it.
Yeah, I got that from Summit. I think it was like $40. It's their 4L80 solid dipstick. I just had to pry the crap out of the floor of the pry bar, but I got it in. I didn't feel like spending $110 on the low car, even though I spent a ton of money in this car already. It's always one of those things. You get mad when you gotta spend an extra $40 or $50, so you'll end up ruining your floor. I put the trans lines in too, kind of just roughed them in. Got those. They're like surplus, like hydraulic line off of. Yeah.
It's the same that you ran in the checker.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
It didn't light on fire, so far so good.
Yeah, it's like a couple thousand psi. I think it's a good deal.
Did more wiring, like 90% of the wire or 99% of the wiring's probably done.
All the wiring's done. All I have to do is, we did the inputs and outputs today. All I have to do is plug everything in, like the coils, but I have to wait till the intake's on because I have to kind of run the coil wire up through the intake runner. But yeah, even we'll get back to the fuel pumps then, but everything's like pretty much done. Like
there should be an intake coming from Australia as we speak, so we'll show more on that when it comes, but hopefully that's sorted out because that's the biggest thing left. Found an intercooler in his brother's stash. That's got to go in. He bought this AC bypass pulley. It didn't fit. So there's supposed to be some bypass pulley that goes down there so you can run the belt properly.
Yeah, like you can get like an AU Falcon. The block is, I guess, almost the same as the Barra block. So I thought that was for an AU Falcon. It came from Australia. It was like $60 US. Ended up it's not even close. It's my own fault. But it looked right, but it wasn't. So that's whatever.
Yeah, so I have to sort that out yet. Might just do the tensioner the wrong way and
everybody
just do
says
it like
it doesn't
that.
work, but a couple guys have chimed in and said, like on the Facebook page, are like, it works fine. So like taking this, putting this on the tensioner, the factory tensioner, and just running the belt down this way. They said, some guy said he's swinging his like 9,000, it's fine. So I don't know what we'll do with that.
Oh, he got the shifter working.
Oh yeah, the shifter was actually pretty cool. Basically park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then third is one. See, the problem is the GM versus the Ford throw is a little bit different. Like park to reverse on a GM's like a long throw, where I think Mopars and Fords had like a short throw. It was the same as the rest. So you always lose a little bit on the throw, but I don't care. As long as I get down to manual third, that's good because the trans is electronic. So it'll shift 1, 2, 3 into the burnout box, and then I'll make my pass, and then it won't shift overdrive because I'll be in third. So that's usually how I don't even mess with 1 or 2 in electronic transmissions. So we're good. Obviously, it'll use those 2 gears when I race, but it will never start off in third. But at least it won't shift 4. So that's all I care about. But
well, the original shifter setup in this, even though it's a column shifter, it was a cable. You said it was just down at the bottom.
This had a factory cable. I can actually show you that real quick. I'll kind of show you what you did because it's hard to see. But it wasn't that bad to do. Let's see. Oh, okay, here's the factory cable. And the problem with the factory cable was this went down in through the firewall and came into the factory column. There's a lever on the bottom of the column, like first closer to the firewall that would move this in and out and move that. But the problem was the trans lever was flipped up.
Yeah, it pulls forward instead of normally the cables pull from the back.
From the back, this cable came in from like this way, and we used the lever like this, like park. But I was trying to extend it and trying to adapt the rod because I thought it'd be a pain to get to in the. Inside the car, but it actually wasn't. So the GM cable, here's a junkyard one I started with, because I still needed the transmission bracket I didn't have for the 4L80. I got one off the 4L60, and I needed this shifter tab off the selector, so I needed that. So I had to go to the junkyard anyway, so I got a cable out of a Blazer, like a 98, and I messed with it a little bit. I kind of screwed it up, but then I realized what will work. This part comes into firewall just like the factory cable, and this goes in to the same spot where this was held in. There was a clip holding this. All I did was take a stepper bit, make this so this would fit in. So this just clicks in. Obviously this end was different. So basically there was like this style end was on inside the car. I just drilled this out a little bit. It's plastic. I know there's some nylon or something in there. Just drilled that out so I could put the cotter pin on under the car. So that's inside the car. That's done. And the rest of the stuff was factory underneath. Like you could probably almost see it. I don't know. That's the factory 4L60E shifter bracket. I just used one bolt hole instead of I used one of the original bolt holes. And the cable's adjustable right here. You pull that plastic clip out, and the cable actually has some adjustment to get you kind of set up in park, because you always usually start with park. And yeah, it's all factory stuff now, other than modifying that one end on the inside the car, just drilling it out and and shaving it a little bit narrow to fit the cotter pin. It's all a factory cable, so if I ever have a problem, I can get one for a 98 Blazer. It'll be a floor shift cable. I started with a column shift cable to mock things up, but ended up realizing the cable for the floor shift is what I have to go with. But yes, see, it's all factory stuff.
Oh, and the parts came in to finish the fuel system, or to finish the trunk part here.
For a second.
Sorry, the trunk's still storage.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the pumps actually mounted. I think it was in the last video. We didn't have the fittings to go from the tank into the pumps. Grabbed them, mounted everything up, wired. So there's the in-trunk fuel system.
Yeah, and then the flex sensor, I ended up changing that. Put the flex sensor in the low pressure feed to the surge. I just didn't want to deal with it in the engine bay, because I think with the intake and the fuel rail and all that up front, it's going to be tight over there. So I figured, I'll put the flex sensor in the back. It's on the low pressure feed, and it'll still read the content. So I know it'll change. I know like there's a 20 or 30 second period from where this fuel will be different from this fuel, but it's only going to be about 20-30 seconds if I would go from, let's say, 93 to E85 or 85 to 93 before it. This sensor, I guess, would pick it up first. This fuel in here will still be going to the rail, so it might be leaner rich, but the Holley has a decent correction factor, so I'm not really...
Well, it'll only really be a problem if it's like immediately after you fill up. After you run a little bit, it's all going to be all intermixed anyway.
Yeah, I mean, technically it should be in the feed going up, because that's exactly what's going to the rail. But like you said, it's only going to be if I change fuels and only after you fill up. And I'm not really concerned about it. I'm usually going to be on E85 all the time, so it doesn't really... It's just... The only reason I'm running a flex sensor is if I'm taking a road trip with this car and I can't get E85. That's the only reason I run it. I don't run it to like switch over back and forth on the street around here. I just drive to the station. There's one fairly close, so all the inputs and outputs are here in the corner. And the only thing I really hacked, which I don't really care, inputs and outputs are just wire nutted. That's the only thing I wire nutted on this car. So that's just for fan output. There's one of these. There's the flex sensor input. Another output's for the boost controller, which I got to do that yet. I got a 3-port Mac valve. So yeah, that's just the inputs and output harness. I just shove that down here. The rest of the wiring is actually pretty tidy. This is factory stuff. Just shove that there. I don't really care.
That's it. So it wasn't like a full update or anything, but wanted to show you what's been happening in all this chaos.
Yeah, we figured we'd give you something because I know I've been watching YouTube like crazy because like we're all stuck at home.
Once all the rest of the parts show up, then we'll have more of a build episode for you. But that's what will be happening next then.